Okay, so let me go ahead and just lock in the focus here. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to modify your Peco turnout, or more specifically to remove this spring if you're using something like a Blue Point controller, manual controller, or a tortoise switch, whatever the case is. So I've seen a few videos where they take where someone will take a pair of needle nose pliers or cutters or wire cutters, and they'll get in there, or they'll just take a pair of tweezers and they'll rip the spring out. Now, one of the great things about Peco tracks, and the more that I use these, the more I like them, is that if you look closely, there are two little metal tabs, one here and one here. And you can pull up on these tabs, remove this, and pull the spring out, put it in a zipper bag, just in case you decide at a later point that you want to put the springs back in. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Just bear with me here, because I got the camera in the way. And for me, the reason that I'm having to do this is because my layout, I'm going to gently stick my tweezers under here just to get a little head start. Let me come in from the other side. My layout's sitting on a 1/4 inch piece of plywood, and then a 1 inch insulation foam layer. So let me go ahead and pause this while I get these tabs. Okay, so I'm almost there. What I want to show you is sometimes these tabs are pushed really far into the that sort of synthetic wood. So if you have a pair of tweezers, or I have like this really thin pair of tweezers here, you can kind of get underneath and get it to bend up just enough that you can come back like this and pull that tab up. See that? There we go. Just move the camera back. Let me move this forward for you guys a little bit. Okay, so that's one tab that's come up. Now we got to get the other one. This one's really pushed in there. I was getting nervous working with turnouts. One of those things, like you mess up your flex track. I mean, it's $5 to replace, but turnouts are so expensive. You gotta be a little more careful. Almost there. We're going to see the spring in just a moment. Come on. There we go. I mean, I guess I see why people cut them out, It's a lot easier than trying to do this. Okay, now I have to mention, one of the reasons why this is so difficult is this switch is already down on the board. It's glued down. This is some liquid nails that's dried out. This would be significantly easier if you did it before laying it down, but I didn't think I'd have to move the springs, and then of course I did, and here we are. So we're going to go ahead and just lift up on this. Come on. Ta-da! And there we have the little Peco spring. See? Let me see if I can get the camera to focus on that. It might be too close. At any rate, so what I do is I put it to the side, and let's go ahead and focus the camera back over here. I put it to the side and I put it in a zipper bag. Now, if you have a hole underneath because you're running a tortoise, you need to be careful, because this guy right here these little pin tabs are connected to a little piece of metal in the bottom, and if you actually were to push down on these, they'll fall through. So what I like to do is I take a Q-tip and cut off one side, and I just kind of put that underneath just to stop it from falling. And I'll use that kind of like, the lock picking lure. Just put a little tension on it, and then we'll bring this back. And I really like this. It's, it's a lot more work to do it this way, but just in case you end up, another technology comes out, another company pops up with a new doodad to control your turnouts, it's nice to be able to go and put the spring back and not think to yourself, well, I wish I hadn't taken that spring out. Peco's really had some foresight by adding this little door here that you can take off. And again, it's only difficult now because I have this glued down to the layout. For all of you guys that are modeling N and Z scale, I don't get how you're able to handle that. I'm all thumbs, and I have the hardest time just with HO, and I look at some of the stuff these Z scalers do and N scalers, and I don't know what kind of black magic you guys have going on. If I had more room, I'd just build everything in O scale. Get in there. All right. So I'm putting a little tension on with this Q-tip. I'm going to just push this down. Sorry, that's my cuckoo clock in the background. There we go. And now what I do is I like to kind of pull up on this little tab and then start bending. That gets it started, and then we'll push it over. One. I'm going to put this back under here so we don't bend the whole thing. And do two. There we go. All right, give me a second. I'm going to take the camera and show you real close. A different angle. Nice. Okay. So let's bring the camera around. Uh-oh, let me just pause. All right. Sorry about that. It was my grandfather clock. My wife is not home, so I'm using the dining room table before I get in trouble. Okay, so these little tabs are now bent back over. And this little piece of wood, these tabs hold this wood in place. And so now, later down the line, if you wanted to, put the spring back in and, I don't know, you wanted to go with a Peco, motorized mover or something like that, you just pull those tabs back up, put the spring back in, and you're good to go. It's pretty simple. So that is how to remove the spring from your Peco, in case you happen to be using something like this. And just in case you're looking into buying one of these, by the way, these are fantastic. They work great. I'm happy with this purchase. You can go look up Larry the DCC guy does a whole video on Blue Point controllers. But if you've got 1-inch foam in the top, you're gonna have issues. You're going to have to take that spring out. But if you're not using foam and you're just on plywood, you should be just fine. So thanks for watching. Hopefully this helped out. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below.